Hello everybody, it's Scott back for another Botania video. It's been a while since I've made one, but you know, a few things have changed, some important things since I've made some videos. One of the things we're going to go over in this video that's pretty important is the Thermalilies have been fixed. Okay, they apparently had a long-standing bug in them that we had unintentionally exploited because apparently it's been a couple years that this bug has been in place. So I've been using the techniques of a Thermalily for a long time and didn't really know the difference that much, honestly. I mean, I knew that it worked better than the manual would describe, but I didn't know that it was, you know, a big bug in it. Apparently a simple thing, but here's the commit in the GitHub. Fix Thermalilies not penalizing for giving lava while on cooldown. No idea how that return snuck back in there. It got explicitly removed in the past. Looks like this build introduced it. Enjoy your nerfed Thermalilies for the last 2 years while you can. Okay, and that's from Willie Willis. And he made the change and got rid of this return. And so that fixed it. So this is something that has to do with the position of the particles and such. The Thermalily is derived from the hydrogena in the source. And so you'll see that kind of stuff. That's not what's really important. The thing is that it was broken. Okay. It was not going into true cooldown. Okay. And, you know, I should have kind of known that from the past, because you never even saw the smoke particles anymore. You would just see these particles here. It would never actually, the Thermalilies never really went into cooldown, is the thing. Okay, so let's look at how they're supposed to behave and how they do behave now, and why that's unfortunate, but it's just the way that things are. Okay, I'm going to use floating ones. It's causing me a little bit of lag. I could technically now use planted ones, and I may in this setup, but we'll see. But let's see how a Thermalily is supposed to work, right? I mean, how it does work now. So right now it's in, oh, well, of course I need to make a mana pool and a spreader. So let's actually get rid of that. Put down the mana pool, put a spreader, just point the spreader to the pool, and then we'll put down our Thermalily here. Okay, and it'll connect to the pool. That's why you want to do it in that order. And now we'll put some lava right here and see what happens, right? So right now there's no particles. It's not in any particular mode. I actually have MBT tooltip, which shows you a little bit of it. But like if you looked at the MBT tooltip, it just says type Thermalily in there. So it doesn't have any other tag on the cooldowns or anything right now. Okay, so if I place this guy, it absorbs it. Okay, does the little particles and starts sending mana over. Okay, and so this single spreader can easily keep up with it. In the tooltip, or in the one probe, you could see the mana thing flowing because I have the mana visualized deal. Okay, so there it is. It's basically still flowing. It'll stay in this mode the whole time. It's dumping mana into here. It'll stay in this mode. Okay, and that's fine. If I had other Thermalilies, which I'll demonstrate in here in a little while, then I could feed more lava to them. This guy's not going to take any more lava. All right, now it goes into the cooldown with the smoke particles. Okay, so it is now in cooldown, and that happens after all the mana flows and the mana spreader empties, after basically the buffer of Thermalily empties. So if I put down another thing of lava now, it still absorbs it, but the lava's gone. No mana. You can see mana 0 of 500. Just gone. Just destroys it. Now if I put down a new Thermalily, okay, that has no particle effect or whatever, this is what I was exploiting before, is I was synchronizing them when this one would stop pulling pushing mana out, then this one would pick it up. Okay, but now let's see what happens. This one eats it. So it's gone. It's just gone. As long as this guy's sitting here in cooldown, it doesn't matter how many other Thermalilies are around. This first one in cooldown is going to eat it. It's going to take the lava. Okay, and there you go. Nothing you could do about that in this case. So, what is a solution? Well, there's not really a good solution. I mean, there is, but there's not. Okay, the thing is that now Thermalilies aren't that great. I mean, they just aren't that great. If they've got a 5-minute cooldown, okay, a 5-minute cooldown, then that's just, they're not that great to push lava. You know, that's just what they decided to do. I guess it was a sort of easy source of mana, although, you know, there are ways to automate lava, which I'll demonstrate later, or just a way that I'm doing for this particular thing. You can do lava however you want, and I'm not recommending one way or the other. But I will show you an easy way. But, you know, okay, so but let's look at something in principle to just understand how it works. I mean, that's what's kind of important overall, is to understand how something works. All right, so before I was placing them in a sequence. I was placing a Thermalily and waiting for the buffers to full, and then placing another one and another one and another one to secretize them. I don't necessarily have to do that, but I can sort of still use my pattern, right? All right, so let's look at how this works. So if I put a Thermalily in a pattern of 8 around the outside, like so, okay, and these are floating ones, so they get a little bit laggy, but here we go. We've got 8, and so I've got lava in the middle. The good part about this is that before I was using floating to prevent lava from spilling out when it wasn't being drawn, but regardless, lava is going to be eaten now. So you can't easily use planted ones. It makes no difference at this point whether they're planted or not, because they're just going to continually eat whatever lava is putting in front of them. But now let's try to understand how this works. So remember, I'm not sure if it's directionalized or whatever. I think it's just the order that you placed. But I am facing north, okay, just to say so. So I placed this one first and then went around counterclockwise, or clockwise, I'm sorry, to get this to happen. So let's look and see what happens when I put lava in the center point. Keeping in mind that lava has to be adjacent to the flower, and it has to be at the same level. All right, so there we go. This one picks it up. Okay, now if I place another one, not there, shit. The one place that okay, yes, playing with lava is dangerous, kids. You can burn your world up. Golly. Okay, let's make the world's biggest mess. I've got a sequencer down there. Okay. Okay, I don't know why it's making that big of a mess. But geez, okay. Why is it making that big of a mess? Why am I getting spreading sources? Don't know that. But okay. This should fix it. Sorry. I always have to screw something up for entertainment's sake, I suppose. But yes, don't play with lava. So this one's destroyed. Let's go ahead and actually mine this one. And I'll show you what I mean. So if I switch to my game mode to survival and I pick this one up. Okay. It's in cooldown. See, it has this tag. Cooldown 6,000. So it doesn't actually matter where I was in the cooldown. I don't think. I think it's just saying it's in cooldown. And so if you place this down, 5 minutes later, it's going to go again. So it has this timer on it. It doesn't actually, I don't think, I'll look in more detail, but I don't think it tags the timer itself. It just says it's in cooldown. So if you pick this up in cooldown, then you're going to have to wait another 5 minutes. That's just the bottom line. Okay, so let's see, what all did we destroy? Let's go back into creative, just so I don't have to worry about Thermalilies. I'm actually going to go ahead and just kill everything, start over, so I can get my order, all right? the order. May matter, it may not matter, but we'll start by assuming that it does. So I want to go like this, right? None of these are in cooldown. These are placed in creative. So this one grabs it. Okay, and he's processing, of course. He's holding lava. He's holding it right now. If I look, there's a buffer. Okay, so if I do this one, that one's holding the lava. It doesn't have anywhere to go. Okay, it's not linked to a spreader. So it's holding lava. Okay, and that's kind of how it works. It'll just keep going around, each one holding its lava. Okay, as much as it can. Now, I'm not sure how a bucket translates to the buffer. You know, I'm assuming it's fairly close. But anyway, if I just go around the outside here, keep placing these 8 buckets of lava, then it'll pick them up in that clockwise fashion. Now, none of these buffers have been dumped. So they're all holding lava. They're all holding their mana. Basically, they burned enough mana to fill their buffer. Again, I'm not exactly sure if it's a overage per bucket of lava. I could look into the source code more and try to calculate that. Maybe I will. I don't know. But there you go. So now if I were to place down spreader and sync it with each one of these guys, then I could pull it out. And maybe that's a thing. Now, see, these went into cooldown. Not sure why. They didn't have anywhere to dump their buffer. But they are technically in cooldown at this point, as the smoke particles tell you. So whatever. Don't care. Because that's not ideally how you want to work. There could be a way to maybe exploit that. The absence of a spreader, like manipulating if a spreader is present or not, but it's the linking thing that becomes kind of hard. Linking a spreader after flowers are placed is kind of hard compared to placing the flowers, which will automatically find the spreader. So that's another thing that we could potentially manipulate, is the placing down of the flowers. But we saw we can't easily grab the existing flowers because they go into cooldown, and so you're not going to keep recreating thermalilies, wasting them. So that's a thing. And so you need some kind of system to buffer them, to know which ones I don't even know if their time matters. I think it's just 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes if you pick them up. So whatever. Still a lot of unknowns. I'm sharing with you things that I'm exploring, okay? Because it's a lot more complex now. Maybe that's the fun of it. All right. So put down thermalilies like we did before. Here and here and here and there and there and there and there. Okay, and they'll go into the order. Now they are linked to a spreader. Spreading was present. They are linked to a spreader. Okay, that one. All of them. So let's see how they act now. Okay, so I'll place it down. This guy grabs it. Lava flow, or a mana flows. Okay, that's all good. That's fine. If I place more mana, then the second one picks it up and it flows. Okay, all the way around. Like so. Filling the buffer, dumping it in when there's available spreader space. Okay, all the way around to this next one now. Then I'll go to this one. Okay. However, I've got just the first time until this one finishes. It's about 45 seconds to do all these. Because if this one finishes its buffer, this one's not filled yet. All of them are except for this one. This one goes into cooldown. Guess what happens, guys? This one will never get triggered, ever. That one will continually eat it up as long as any one of these are in cooldown. And that is a thing. Okay? So as long as all these are in cooldown, this one will never, ever, ever get filled. So, you've got... It's going to kill all this. You've got 45 seconds to fill these 8 flowers, to give eight doses of lava, essentially, to each one of these, to each flower get its dose of lava. You've got 45 seconds to do that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and actually break the mana pool too, so I can see the total mana. All right, let me put my, I did it backwards because you really want the spreader first because it's easier to, you don't have to link the flowers manually to it. That's what it boils down to. So, oops. Come on, guy, do your thing. All right, there we go. Now, so let's put them in order. And I'm not 100% sure that the order actually matters. I don't know that it does, but I'm just telling you how it works right now. Okay, so I got 45 seconds to fill all these. That's not hard to do. So there's 8 of them. So if I fill one every less than 6 seconds, every 5 seconds, I've got it. I'm in good shape. So there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so they're all filled. So, I could kind of try to wait 5 seconds to try to balance it out. The thing that we were trying to do was to keep a continual flow of mana all the way around this circle. That was kind of the idea of my initial Thermalily setups. We can't really do it now. And I'll show you. I'll let the mana flow. Again, it'll take, I don't know exactly how long, but this one's in cooldown. That one's in cooldown. That one's in cooldown. I think that one is. That one. Cooldown, cooldown, cooldown. And then this one, cooldown. Okay, so all mana stops flowing as soon as all those go into cooldown. So now we have basically 5 minutes from when this one went into cooldown. This very first one. So 5 minutes and then however many seconds it took, less than 40 seconds for all of these, or around 40 seconds for all of these, okay, for them to go into cooldown. So it technically at 5 minutes and 40 seconds, 5.5 minutes, this one should be ready too. All right. And that's just what it is. Now, not that much mana flowed. I mean, it's just, like I said, it's just not, that's not that much mana. It's actually a pretty decent amount of mana. Actually, it's 40,000. That's what we see up in the mana thing. So we got 40,000. Okay, so we had 8 of them. So each of them provided 5,000 to it. Whatever, Botania is not numbers, but yeah, it is. Go look at the free source code and tell me it ain't numbers. People, geez. So now we have to just wait 5 minutes. So really slow overall. I mean, not a lot to get a whole lot of things from it. So what if we went ahead and had a rotating system like this, okay, where each one was set to go basically the 40 seconds, 45 seconds. Let's say it was like a minute, and how much would it have to be? Like if this was 5 minutes that we needed to wait before these were done, and we had 4 of these rings, then basically, we're going to do a minute and 15 seconds so that we can get 5 minutes. So a minute and 15 seconds, if we're going to do 8 of them, what's that? That's like a minute and 15 seconds is 75. So if we did these 5 every 5 seconds, we should be in pretty good shape. Okay, pretty good shape. So this will take a while on the video, but I guess I'll go ahead and show you what I mean doing it manually, because it's ready to flow again. So here we go. We go 1, then you wait about 5 seconds. 2, that one. Just take your time, be lazy. 3, okay, 4, I guess that's actually, there he goes, 6, 7, and be lazy and get 8. Okay, so we go ahead and let that one finish, basically. And again, we estimate that it would take about, 45, 50 seconds before everything finishes and it goes into cooldown. Because it basically just flows from each one to the other, doing as much of this buffer as it can. These are fine. I mean, you can see it's full, but it just dumps each Thermalily as it can to fill it. This one's in cooldown, that one's in cooldown, and so on. So now they're starting cooldown. So basically, if we just let this one stop flowing, kind of like I did before, just listen for it to stop flowing and then start this one. 1, be a little lazy. 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not crucial. 6, 7, and 8. Now, when you're doing it manually, it's not crucial, but of course, eventually we're going to set up automated timers, or attempt to. Pretty complex set of timing instructions to try to reproduce this. Of course, at first we would be happy to just do one at a time, although we don't get that much mana from it. So we basically just let this go until it runs out of mana. They've already started their cooldown, so we're pretty close to it happening. Now we're in this cooldown coming up, so on. Yeah, so each one's going into its cooldown period. As soon as this one finishes its cooldown, then the timer will dump. Okay. There we go. All right, now we're ready to go to this one. Same thing. Be a little bit lazy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Should have checked my mana. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so all those should be full. Let me look at my mana pool and make sure I don't fill up and it stop. No. See, it's even that's not a whole lot of mana. I mean, it is cumulatively, but if you have an infinite source of lava, then it's still a pretty cheap way of doing it. But there's 32 of these, and they're kind of laggy. But again, as we said, we can use the planted ones to do it. So let's let that stop. You can already see the cooldown. It's going into that one. Now it'll be this one, that one, and this one over here. Okay, good. So now we can do this one. Okay, that one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now you could have these, one right after the other pretty quick. Doesn't really matter. It'll absorb them. But I'm just trying to demonstrate that, it's kind of just about 5 seconds in between them would be fine. Okay. Now, these guys are still in cooldown. This is kind of what we're waiting for. That's still flowing. We want to see how long between when this stops does this one go out of cooldown. Okay, how close are we? Because that's what determines if the mana would continually flow or not. Would the mana just keep going around the circle? Could we keep doing what we just did in a loop? Okay, the mana stopped. So how much of a space do we have here? Like how much of 5 minutes did we use to get to this point? because that's how you want to do your calculations to figure out, all right, how many, how much should it take going around here? And that would somewhat help mitigate your mana lag and then the lag of the automated user and stuff. So that's why I was being lazy between them. And, obviously I wasn't lazy enough. I still needed to buy myself. All right, now we got it. So we waited about 30 seconds. That one's going out and that one's going out. So they're ready to receive again now. Okay, as soon as this one finishes, you've got to wait till all of them are out of cooldown. Okay, out of cooldown, out of cooldown, out of cooldown. So you got to figure that. And as soon as this one's out of cooldown, which is any second, there we go, then the whole cycle can start again. See, I could do it immediately. 3, I'm on 3. There's 4. And 5. And 6. And 7. And 8. Okay, so that's how that works. So we see that it's pretty possible to do it with some pretty precise timing if we wanted to like it to be seamless, or we could kind of just be a little bit lazy about it. And as long as this has a full 5 minutes plus the actual duration of these though. So it's 5 minutes and 40 seconds or what have you. Okay. You need that before you start the next one, because we're keep in mind all the flowers have to be out of cooldown. So kind of the best way to do this is, first of all, we need an automated lava system of some type. I don't care how you do it. Don't call me cheaty and, leave a dislike or whatever because you don't look how I do my lava. Yeah, whatever. Do the lava however you want. I don't care how you do your freaking lava at all. Okay? Cart it in by horse. I don't care. I'm going to do it with Project E. It's a very easy way to do it. Vulcanite Amulet. Endless source of lava. Anything that gave an endless source of lava you could use with this method. That could be in a bucket. So just imagine this is a bucket. And you could pipe in buckets or whatever. The way I showed before was pumping it out of the nether, which is the least cheaty way. Because it's real lava, guys. And doing it that way, but whatever. I'm over it. I got a lot of grief about that, and I'm freaking over it. So, basically, what you need to do is just supply this guy. This is the activated or the mechanical user from extra utilities. You need to say use it on the block. Right click, upper left slot only, so it'll only pick this guy, and then the Vulcanite Amulet needs redstone as a fuel, obviously lava buckets and such wood. Okay, so, and then I just have a button just to show you how this guy works. So I can put any block in here. It doesn't matter. It's going to replace it with lava. And I just hit that, and there's lava. Okay, so that's how you can make lava, infinitely. And so I just needed to have this guy controlled by redstone, which right there was controlled by a redstone pulse. And this one is actually controlled by a sensor from RF Tools, where it's saying if the lava's gone, then trigger. It's a little bit more automated. But what we want to do, and I'm not sure I'll get to it this whole video to actually demonstrate them all, but I'll just give you the plan forward, is we're going to use these sequencers, okay, from RF Tools. And I think I'll push those over to another video to describe them, to describe the automated process. But this is generally what you need to do with a Thermalily to make them work. Again, this is fine, except for you have to go through the full cooldown. But if we were trying for a continual flow, and this would be fine as automated, just kind of AFK deal, where you do it and then you wait your 5 minutes. If you just wanted to have one, you could set it and wait 5 minutes. Doesn't really matter, but these are actually the maximum amounts you could do with one lava source, because it needs to be adjacent to them, either next to it or diagonal, for the Thermalily and at the same level for it to read it. So these 8 are the maximum amount of Thermalilies that you could have that's pulling from a single lava source. But anyway, I hope that was kind of clear. It's complex. They make it that way. Again, I think automation is part of the game of playing with it. See, I'm kind of laggy here a little bit just because of the amount of Thermalilies, the floating ones, but not too bad. But in a whole playthrough, I would try to adjust for that. I don't even think I have Optifine or anything in here right now. I'm just I hadn't made any settings or whatever. But anyway, I hope you picked up something from that to understand the mechanics of the Thermalily and how they have changed in recent builds of Botania, and actually how they've been restored to what they were supposed to be. How it was supposed to work is how that they work now. So we just had, like they said before, a free time of playtime with the Thermalilies. I took advantage of it. I hope you did too. But now we need to learn to take advantage of how it actually works. Anyway, this is Scott O'Model. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a great day. Like, subscribe, join the tribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
This